A wave of hostility towards LGBTQ people in Poland has alarmed officials and led the American ambassador there to denounce conservative Polish newspapers for stoking hatred in its campaign for so-called LGBT-free zones. Those fears were realized this weekend as a mob of right-wing Poles attacked a pride march in the town of Białystok, one of several districts that have declared themselves to be LGBT-free. From Białystok in eastern Poland, special correspondent Malcolm Brabant reports.
God, honor, motherland, they chanted. Wearing obscene anti-gay T-shirts, some hardcore right-wingers were intent on violence. Following their lead, thousands of people from Białystok, including senior citizens, lambasted marchers protesting against the sudden rise of so-called LGBT-free zones. Among those they tried to intimidate, Małgorzata Mroz.
It makes me sad that people claim those LGBT-free zones in Poland because me, as a bisexual and also Polish person, I really would love to feel welcome in every single place in this country.
The marchers were vastly outnumbered and police protection was essential. Gay activists claim they've replaced refugees as Poland's main hate figures.
I'm scared a bit. I have a tear gas with me. Yeah, so as you can see, they basically shout, get the out of here, to me and to other people like me. So I can't feel welcome in my country.
As the hostile mood intensified, the police struggled to defend stragglers separated from the main march. The mob set off in pursuit of one small group of gay pride campaigners seeking safety. But they spotted an officer pinning down a hardliner, and the first skirmish of the afternoon began. Police arrested 30 people. This exemplified the hatred and intolerance that concerns the US ambassador and the openly gay deputy mayor of Warsaw, who compared it to the behavior of the Nazis in the Second World War. The issue of gay rights has been bubbling beneath the surface in Poland for years, but recently it's just exploded and gone to the forefront of the political agenda. And this issue has placed Poland into conflict with mainstream Europe. When Poland's populist Law and Justice Party came to power in 2015, it declared ambitions to Christianize the European Union. In towns like Białystok, they abhor what they regard as mainstream Europe's decadent values. At Parliament in Warsaw, influential law and justice politician Zdzisław Krasnodębski said Europe favoured constitutions, but was hypocritical when it came to Poland.
Our constitution in the Article 18 states the marriage is only between man and woman. For me it's very interesting that in this case there is no interest in what actually our constitution is talking about.
Government critics say such arguments have emboldened protesters like Łukasz Marcinkiewicz, who's studying medicine in Białystok.
It makes me sad when I see a situation where we have two men together or two women together, and they declare love for each other. There is no biological possibility for them to have a child, so I realize that this is not what family should look like. I strongly support the model where there's one woman, one man, and babies.
We think that LGBT movements have a very long tradition of profanity towards state symbols. They turned Poland's national red and white flag into a white rainbow flag and desecrate Catholic and Christian symbols.
He has in his sights Daniel Radczewski, an artist who wears prayer beads made of the blood of homosexuals and who portrays saints as gay icons.
What is going on around the LGBT community appalls me. The fact that the governing party uses us as electoral fuel, because of the fact that the government works closely with the church, and the church is its authority. The Catholic Church's teaching says it explicitly. You could say it has incited hatred against LGBT people.
The anti-gay sermons of some priests are frequently rabid. Wiesław Dawidowski, who leads Poland's Order of St. Augustine, is a man of peace But on this issue, he says he's neither moderate nor liberal.
I would quote Pope Francis, and I would say here, I am not a judge, and I cannot judge people. If people want to live this way of life, all right, they live this way of life with full consequences.
30 miles away from Białystok is rustic, God-fearing Kulesza Kościelny, where 90% voted for the ruling party.
What's new isn't always good, and Poland always stood firmly on tradition, religion, right?
I'd find some remote islands. I'd take gay men to one island and lesbians to the other. Let them live there.
Still inspired by the conservative vision of the late Polish Pope John Paul II, the Catholic Church is engaged in a battle for Europe's identity.
This is a certain pivotal moment in our relationship. I think the old Europe, which is called the old lady, which is a dying Europe, by the way, has to redefine what she really wants. And it is the question of the Brussels elites, it is the question of also the church elites. What is this that we want in Europe in the future, in the issues that concern human values?
Freedom, equality and tolerance chanted the pride marches. They yearn for the right to have same-sex marriages. But given the levels of prejudice in Poland right now, that looks like an impossible dream. For the PBS NewsHour, I'm Malcolm Brabant in Białystok.